If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Welcome, my friends. I am so happy to see you here today. Today, we have got another potent show for you. This one has been talking to me for over a week now, and I am so excited to share it with all of you. So what's going on in your world? What's happening? Are you struggling? Are you in a place of joy? Are you maybe even numb by everything that's happening in the world? Are you allowing what's happening in the world to actually impact you on a cellular level? Is it keeping you awake at night? Is it holding you back from creating in your world? How is the outside world impacting you? We're going to talk about some of that tonight. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things, and I'm super, super excited about it. Tonight's show is you don't really have a procrastination issue. And this is a topic, oh my Lord. We talk about procrastination and we use different words for it. We use different explanations for it, but we talk about procrastination a lot in our lives, a lot in business. When I'm working with clients, I hear them talk about being procrastinators. And it's really holding them back in having more joy and more pleasure in their lives. And I really want to get this home to you tonight, because if this is something that's showing up in your world, if you find that it holds you back, or that you are wishing you could start something, or you're not getting the hit to start something, or you just don't know what to do, if any of those things are happening, or you're buying the bullshit from yourself that you're overloaded, any of that is all under this umbrella of procrastination. So we're really going to unpack this tonight, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And the reason we're going to have a lot of fun is because when you can get clarity, you can get more space. And when you get more space, you can get more space in your mind, you can get more space in your body. Your body lets go of tension, pain. It can let go of a lot of things that are not fun for you. When you're letting go of these intensities, it actually creates more in relationships, and it starts to bring in more joy and more pleasure. And guess what follows more joy and more pleasure? Prosperity, money, new opportunities. So this is a key. This is a key to your desires. Tonight's show is absolutely a key to your desires, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts and ideas about it. So if you're listening live, I would love for you to come join us in the chat room, and you can join us as a studio audience member while we're doing the live videotaping. So that would be really a lot of fun. Go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room. You are also welcome to send an email to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. And if you're listening after the live show, whether you're listening in one of our podcasts or one of our TV, please feel free to reach out to me and send me an email. I love hearing from my listeners and viewers, and I love learning about what it is that's working for them with the show topic in particular, or where they would like more contribution. So before we get into tonight's show, I just want to invite you into a new possibility. When you are working with someone who has your back, someone who desires to see you grow and expand into more joy, someone that really does understand the way that systems work, the way that our minds work, the way that we can contribute and be contributed to in our lives, we start to change and enjoy in such a bigger way. And I would love to invite you to connect with me to see if we can work together, to see if I can contribute to you. I love working with soulpreneurs, especially. That really lights me up. There's nothing that makes me happier than to to really see where they're struggling and to show them new possibilities. When a client is just overwhelmed with joy because we have moved through some very, very big hurdles, that brings me a great deal of happiness. You know, we all have gifts and capacities. These are some of mine. So I would love to hear from you. Again, you can contact me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. You can check out my website, inspiredchoices.ca. You can find me on any social media platform, or of course here on the Inspired Choices Network, one of my creations as well. So let's get into tonight's show. You don't really have a procrastination issue. Procrastination is real, but what if it's not true for you? How do you know what true procrastination is and where you are disconnected from the truth of what's going on? Can you imagine moving forward with your business and life without avoidance or the lie you have been carrying around for years about procrastination? Oh my gosh. How many, hands up, how many of you have felt like you procrastinate a lot? Or you can think of a time in your life where you really procrastinated or did avoidance so beautifully, and where you just could not take a step, right? I don't think there's anybody on the planet that hasn't felt like they were really being stuck because of procrastination. Well, let me read to you the online etymology, which is the original definition of the word procrastination. So procrastination is a putting off to a future time. And it is a putting off from day to day. It's a noun of action from past principle, putting off till tomorrow, defer, delay, defer, delay, defer, delay, belonging to tomorrow. So, my first question to you is, how many of you are not living in the present? How many of you are actually more living in the past or in the future? How many of you are looking to the past and saying, well, I did really well there, but I'm stuck. I must be procrastinating. Or you're looking to the future, worrying about a bill, worrying about success, comparing yourself to other people, right? That is one way that you can find yourself completely frozen in time. These are the two enemies of being present. And why am I talking about being present so much? Because when you're really present with your life, with your business, with your creation, when you're really present, you get really connected. You get connected to what your desires are, and you get connected to what is actually truthfully occurring. Now, some of the times when you are in that energy or belief system that you are procrastinating, now this might sting a little bit, but just stay with me. You are actually playing the role of your victim. You are being a victim to your own desires. All right. And we all do it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just acknowledge it. Oh, wow. I was really being a victim right there. Okay. This is a key. This is another key to moving you beyond this procrastination. And here's something that I absolutely 100% know is we all are always going to desire more. We are built to desire. We are built to continuously reach forward and reach forward and reach forward. I can remember a time in my life, not so long ago, where I actually said to myself, why aren't you ever satisfied? Why aren't you ever satisfied? Satisfaction is a lie if it lasts more than a day or two. All right. You can for sure, please, please, please do enjoy your creations, enjoy your successes, revel in them, allow them to wrap their energy around you, to support you, to help you and assist you to grow for sure. But you were not built to just create and stop. Okay. We are continuously in change and we are continuously in desire. Desire is what humans love to do. And even if maybe you're very depressed right now, maybe you're in a very heavy space with your emotions. The reason that you're depressed, the reason that you are absolutely still desiring is because you're depressed, is because you are in heavy emotions. If you didn't desire something different, okay, that would be the key, that you didn't need to be depressed. You would be satisfied with where you are. And that shows you that we are continuously desiring more. Now, if you are someone who is very depressed, someone who is struggling deeply with their emotions, I understand that. I have been there more times than I'd like to remember. Please reach out to someone who can support you, someone who can really assist you to move to the next step. And if I am someone that rings for you, I would love to support you. I absolutely know what it's like to struggle with that. And it's not a fun place at all. I have had 4 family members actually choose to leave their body because they were in such a depressed state. I understand it all too intimately. And I would love to be able to support you if that's where you are, if I'm someone that rings for you to connect with. But what we're talking about tonight is not that deep, deep depression and not those huge, huge emotions. What we're talking about is more like frustration and confusion and feeling overwhelmed, feeling stuck. This is where the idea of procrastination can come up so, so loudly. Now, procrastination is really, the truth of procrastination is where you just avoid everything. Okay? You know that you're not truly procrastinating when you are able to take strides in some areas of your life. To be a true procrastinator is someone that is not choosing to choose forward, to step forward in their life. All right. To be a true procrastinator means that you are satisfied to some degree and you're not interested in something else. Okay. We're going to go for our break. And when we get back, I'm going to dive deeper into what this truly is. It's not procrastination. You don't really have, for the most part, I would say probably 90% of people, when they say that they're procrastinating, they don't have a procrastination issue. It's something else. And when we get back, we're going to dive in really deeply into this. And I'm telling you, it is going to change the way that you look at things, and it's going to change the way that you create in your life. It's going to change the way that you choose to step into your life, the way that you choose to step up, the way that you choose to use your voice, the way that you actually desire and actually move into action. These are fantastic tools to have in your toolbox and to remember again and again, because the fact of the matter is as you are continuing to grow and as your desire grows, and we've already established desires are never going to stop, and as your desires grow and you continue to grow, there is going to be sometimes where you're going to have to be heavy lifting, and procrastination, the idea of procrastination, may pop into your world. And what I want to share with you is truthfully going to be such a gift, so it doesn't keep you stuck long. So I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to hold it over till we come back from our break. Be sure to come into the chat room, give me your comments, your questions. I would love to hear around what happened in your world when you have been procrastinating, or so you thought. So you are listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices show here on the Inspired Choices Network. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, welcome, my friends. I'm so glad you're still with us tonight. And if you've just joined, we're talking about procrastination. You don't really have a procrastination issue. So we have a question in the chat room. I just love this. And this is kind of like, this is a question in some form or another that comes up oftentimes with clients. And the question is, what does it mean when I am getting the bare minimum done, but I am putting off the deeper stuff that I know requires my attention? Okay, there's so many pieces in this, and I'm going to try to keep it all straight in my head. One of the biggest pieces here is if you're somebody that you need to feel like you've accomplished something, like you've got, this is usually when you have a lot of things on your to-do list, but there's that one really big thing that you desire to get to. Okay, the one really, really big thing. When you have a lot of things on your to-do list, what you are going to need to do is get some momentum going. And so one of the things that we do to get our momentum moving is we start to knock off the little things, the little things. Okay, so that's one of the very first steps. And there's nothing wrong with that, except there is a challenge with that. Because when we're knocking off those little things, we've got our focus over here and we're knocking off the little things. What's happening is we've got a lot of energy is being pulled over to the thing that we desire so much to create, to have the conversation around, to move forward. We've got a lot of energy is over here while we're actually focused over on the other side. Okay, so you're really being split into two. Well, when you're being split into two and you're not focusing, you're not as present, right? So that's, first of all, that's a really, really big thing. Another thing why we will often be trying to we'll do the little things is because we need to have accomplishments. We need to feel accomplished. Okay. And we all do need to feel accomplished. We need to feel valued, even to ourselves, even if nobody else knows the things that we are accomplishing. Okay. When we are in that space, oftentimes is we do not feel confident. We do not feel successful. And that's why we will be going over and be looking at and doing the small things. Now, I can tell you this, there are some times when there's an idea or a creation that's brewing for me, and maybe this is true for you too. You might find that, and just check in of what's true, right? And this can change all of the time, but there'll be times when there's a creation that's brewing and I will find myself going and doing some different things, some insignificant things like doing the laundry, you know, vacuuming, doing dishes, kind of like non-brain requests, things that are very habitual for you. I'll be going out there and I'll be doing these things. And while I'm doing that, she says, I cleaned my damn oven today. Okay. So when you're doing these things, what you may be doing, again, check in to see if it's true. You may be giving your creation space, to continue to evolve so that it can bring it to you, so that you can actually see it, even in your mind's eye, understand it, or get that motivation to take the next step. Okay. That may be what's going on. I'm going to tell you the key. I'm going to tell you the key to what's really going on 95% of the time regarding procrastination. You're not connected to your creation. You're not connected. You're out of alignment to it. It's either A, you haven't asked enough questions, you haven't leaned into it, you haven't actually given it the attention that it desires and requires. Maybe it's a matter of sitting down and you're writing, right? You're just I forget what they call it when you just are writing, and you just you're just allowing whatever to come through. You're not sitting there thinking about what to write. It's more than journaling. It's a type of journaling where you're just like, oh, I'm really bored, I don't know what to do, da 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 da. You know, you're just whatever is coming out of you. Or maybe you're actually you brainstorm with a friend. You're like, okay, I've got this idea and I'm just not getting any traction on it, can you ask me some questions about it? Okay, that sometimes is those things can be really, really helpful. So you're disconnected, you're not getting enough information. You might be disconnected because the thing that you're trying to do is actually not for you to do. How many people are in a lot of their lives, especially in the way that they make money, that they're actually in survival mode? You're in survival mode and you're willing to do anything. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. But if this is something that's very important to you and it's something really big that you desire to have in your life, you may be out of alignment with it and it may not be the thing for you to do. Right? I've had a lot of different jobs, and there are jobs that, you know, you procrastinate going to work. I would procrastinate going to work because that was not the thing that I should be doing. All right. When you're lit up, when you're turned on, you'll just dive right into the things that you want to do, even when they're really, really big tasks. Okay. But when you're out of alignment, you're disconnected, and it's not the thing for you to be doing, this is oftentimes where you will find that evil procrastination show up in your life. There are so many people in the world that are in their own business and they are doing things they should not be doing. They are doing the tasks that they should be hiring someone else to do. All right. This is so, so important. You want to do what you do best, and then you want to outsource the rest. You want to work smarter. You don't want to work harder, right? What we often do is we think we can do all of these things. We think that, you know, I'm really good at everything. You might be really good at a lot of things. You might be okay at some things and you can push through them, but that's when you start to procrastinate. You are procrastinating on things. Or perhaps you're one of these people that thinks, I have to do it all in business because I can't afford to pay somebody else. I can't outsource it. And then you are spending endless amounts of hours trying to learn how to learn how to do something that you actually have to teach yourself the program. You have to teach yourself the process. You have to teach yourself hours and hours of education just so you can move forward and do that task. Okay. That can be a huge area where you lean into procrastination. All right. When you do not understand where your value is at, when you don't understand where your key capacities lie and where your brilliance really comes through, procrastination can be your bedfellow over and over again. Because who wants to be doing something that doesn't light them up, that doesn't bring them joy? Not me. And I'll tell you something else, my friends, when you're not doing what lights you up and brings you joy, the next thing that happens is you're not going to be financially prosperous, because the energy of procrastination, what are you doing? You're avoiding. So you're putting the energy, pardon me, of avoidance out there. So right away, your customers and your clients are going to be avoiding you. So I really want to invite you in to look at this. I want to invite you into looking at what is it that you are procrastinating on now. Okay. Or if you're not procrastinating on anything, but you have in the past, go and look at what was happening for you at that time. Okay. Was that a task that you should have been doing? Number one. Was that a creation you were trying to push through that had not yet fully baked? That's something that I've definitely experienced. As many people will know, that people used to tease me because I would always be pushing really hard and really going forward and get it done, create, create, create. And I have learned over the last year or more that that is not actually contributing to me. That what is desiring to come to me, the desires that I have, and what I am actually desiring to bring into my life, they have to continue to grow and evolve. So they need to bake. So a lot of the times when I felt like I was procrastinating, that I wasn't getting something done, and I was talking to myself so negatively, what was actually happening was I was trying to push something. I was trying to push the baby out before the baby had completely baked. How many of you are trying to do that? That you're really reaching because you're feeling desperate and you're thinking, if I can just get this done, if I can just get this created, I can make the money, and then this, and then this, and then this. Really? What if that was a baby? What if you said, look at baby, if you would just be born, and then I could have this, and then I could have this, and then I would get money from this person, and right? The baby would be like, wait a second, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. So how many of your creations are not ready yet? And you're finding yourself, you're judging that you are procrastinating. Guess what? You're out of alignment. You are out of alignment with that creation. You need to check in with your creations. You need to ask your creation questions. You need to really be a partner with your creations. Now, look at those procrastinations. Look at what they were. Was a lot of what you were doing was actually judgment? Were you judging yourself, but telling yourself that you're a procrastinator? Guess what? If you could actually be honest with yourself, if you could actually dive deep and say, you know what? I'm judging myself because I can't get this done. I am judging myself. And you could start to unpack that and unpack the judgment that you have at yourself. And you learn about why you're judging yourself. And you learn about how to love yourself and how to remove those judgments of yourself. What's going to happen is there's going to be space, and the things that you desire to shift forward with, to move with, they're going to start to move. They absolutely are. But that big, heavy energy of judgment can keep it locked down. We are just about up for our first break of or our second break of the show, rather. Whoo, this is going fast. We want to absolutely look into this even further. So please do come back after this next break, where we're going to look at what else is going on. And I'm going to tell you a couple of stories around what was happening for me in regards to procrastination. So you're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. And please do come back after these commercial breaks.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, my friends, I'm so happy you're with me tonight. This is a fun show for me. These are some big aha moments. We got some great comments in the chat room as well. I'm going to share those with you, but I want to tell you about a big procrastination that I dealt with in my life. My first big career was in human resources. I was in human resources for probably 20 years. I went to college, a 3-year business program here in Canada, and I specialized in human resources. I went right into the field of human resources. I loved it so, so much. And about a year and a half in, a big, big drop in the economy hit, and all of a sudden all sorts of companies were closing up, were laying off, and I found myself working in industries where I didn't really desire to be. When things opened up again, I came back into the human resources field, and I wanted to get involved in the local HR community. I really wanted to work my way up in the human resources field. I really wanted to make something of myself. I desired that deeply. I desired also to create a life for my family. I was a single mom with 2 kids. I really wanted to have something to share with them, something that they could be proud of, something I could be proud of. So I really worked really, really hard. I went back to school to upgrade my knowledge in HR. I got involved in the HR community. I was going all the time. And there is in Canada and in the US, I know that as well. I'm not sure about other countries that we can go and we can get certified. We can get a designation rather with being in human resources. So you end up being I forget what the title is, but it's like a certification. And there's 2 really big tests for this certification. Well, it's really interesting because I found myself when it came time, and I know the industry. I know the education. I'm well versed. I have no problem having a conversation or moving forward. I understand the law, all of it in this regard. But the minute it came time to start studying for these exams, I started procrastinating. I was procrastinating, and I was procrastinating, and then I was procrastinating. And how many of us are doing this when it comes to tests and exams? Well, my early younger years in school, right? Initially, I was fine with doing tests. I would study and I wouldn't have any problems. And then there came a time with one teacher who was he was a-hole, and he really mistreated me. Okay. I'm not going to get into that tonight, but this created a lot of angst and a lot of self-judgment and a lot of self-doubt in my world. And I started to carry that around in my backpack as I moved forward in school. I would take courses if I possibly could that were the easiest courses, just so I could move through school, because I really believed that I was stupid. I bought that lie from that person. And I bought that I was shitty at studying. I bought that I was terrible with my memory. I bought all of these crazy, insane, stupid lies. And so I got through high school, and I am not kidding you guys when I say that I thought I fooled everybody when with the marks that I was getting in school, that I fooled them all. I got my grade 12 diploma, and I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I thought, oh my God, so I'm so glad they didn't figure it out. I'm so glad nobody found out how stupid I was. And this is something that I told myself for a long time. I'm not talking a couple of weeks. I'm talking years and years and years. And it is insane how people can impact us. It's insane how that can burrow its way into your psyche and burrow its way into your actions as you move forward. Let's move forward now to these tests that I had to take. So I was avoiding actually studying for these tests, because the minute the word tests came up, I was that little girl. I was 12 years old again and dealing with all of this insane BS that was in my head. And so what did I do is I procrastinated actually studying something that I knew. And then what happened was it came time to, a couple of days before the test, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I absolutely had to pass these tests. And my whole character was on the line, because now I am on the board of directors for our local chapter for human resources. And what would it say? What would it say that the VP that's coming in to be our president next year failed these tests? Like, I am telling you, I freaked myself out so bad, it wasn't even funny. Well, I squeaked through the first test. And I'm telling you, I gave myself such anxiety about this that I was like, oh my God, I made it. And then I told myself, there's no possible way I am going to make that second test. And I got myself so worked up with this. I procrastinated. I came up with every excuse in the book. I'm too tired. My kids need my attention. I'll get to it tomorrow. I just need a break. I would come up with all of these things. I was avoiding it. And I was also avoiding the truth of what was going on for me. I was disconnected from the truth. I wasn't really procrastinating. I was disconnected from the truth of what was happening. Well, I thought I studied enough. I thought I did a great job, and I failed. I failed that second test. I was absolutely mortified. I was so mortified. I was just praying all the time, especially when we would have board meetings, that nobody would ask me, oh God, please don't anybody ask me. Don't anybody ask me. Don't anybody ask me. I was just in an absolute panic about this. And when it came time, and I absolutely had to move forward, like most people would say, look, it's not your thing. Don't work yourself into this craziness. But I knew that I had to get this designation as I'm going to be the president. So I went again. And let me tell you, this is costing me hundreds of dollars every single time I'm taking this test. So there was a lot on the line about this, not just my reputation, not just, my own self-worth, but there was money that I was taking away from my family to be able to do this. And of course, having this designation was also going to get me a better position in my job and possible new opportunities. So when I started to actually have to do the second exam, I asked my sister who had a cottage, and this was in the wintertime, so they weren't going to this cottage. I asked her if I could go to their cottage. And I, one of my favorite things to do to disconnect is to watch TV. I'll watch an hour or two of TV at night, and it really helps to disconnect me from the day, and it helps to create ease in my world. That's what it does for me. Well, there was no TV at this cottage. There was no telephone at this cottage. All right. I had a cell phone, but I didn't have back then, we didn't have, unlimited calling and all the rest of it. And I started to tell people, look, I'm going away for the weekend. Don't contact me. And that freaked me out, even telling people that. And so I went to this cottage. It was a very small little cottage, and it was like 2 bedrooms and 1 large room. It was the dining room, a tiny little kitchen, and the living room. And that was it. And it was me and all of these great big binders and books. That's all I took. And I'm telling you, I tried to distract myself from studying like you would not believe. I tried to distract myself so much. I did everything that I could possibly imagine. And then I gave myself a stern talking to. McIver, you have to do this. You cannot go through that pain again. You know you want this. You have got to buckle down and do this. And then I would start to say, you can do this. But that was a really light voice. That was a really, really light voice. So I started to study, and I would do little markers. I would maybe study for 20 minutes. And then I would like, oh my God, look what I did. I did this, and I understand this, and da, 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 da. And I would start, the momentum started to go. And then as that momentum started to grow, I started to realize that what was really driving all of this supposed procrastination was the self-doubt and the judgment and the lie that somebody put on me. I wasn't procrastinating. I was trying to keep myself safe from all of that bullshit of the past. And what I really needed to do was I really needed to look at it. I really, really needed to be with it. I'm so grateful. I am so incredibly grateful that I continue to lean into that and to actually move forward. And oh, by the way, I did pass that exam. I did get my certification, and I did become the president of that board, and I did great. I was doing fabulous. It changed so much for me. But it wasn't, I understand today, it wasn't about getting that designation. It was about unpacking the lie about my intelligence, about my ability, and about my determination in my life. That was such a friggin' gift. I can't even tell you. So Jen says in the chat room, so interesting. I remember when my husband and I were having marriage troubles, and when we started finally opening up, and he told me he felt like he tricked me into marrying him. And once we got married, it was only a matter of time before I figured out he was no good and would leave me. Wild what those voices in our heads say to us and sabotage us. So true. So really ask yourself, friends, with these 2 great examples, what is it that you are telling yourself? What are those lies in your head? What is stopping you from choosing forward? What is stopping you from choosing forward? We're up to our last break of the show. This show went so quickly, and there's so much about procrastination I could probably talk on for days and days and days. When we get back though, I have one more really cool tool that I want to tell you about that really did change it even more for me regarding procrastination. So my friends, you're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network. Whether you're listening in our podcasts, whether you're listening live, whether you're watching on TV, Hi there. I'm so glad and so grateful that you are here. Stay tuned. We're going to have our one more commercial and we'll be back to close up tonight's show.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, my friends, I'm having so much fun with tonight's show. I don't know about you, but unpacking the BS around procrastination is such a gift, even if it's just for myself, even if I'm the only one listening to myself talking about it, it's such a gift because procrastination can be, poison to your creations. It can be poison to your desires. And for the most part, it's BS. It is absolutely BS. So what I want to ask you is, or tell you rather, is when you feel like you are avoiding something, if you feel like you are procrastinating, please, my friends, ask yourself the question. Ask your body the question. Truth, am I really procrastinating? Truth, is it something else? Ask those questions. And you can just get an energetic yes or no on those questions without getting the answer. Stop looking for the answer all the time. Allow things to come to you. Allow them to be unpacked for you. You do not have to have the answers right here, right now, every time. It's such a gift to just know, okay, cool. I'm not procrastinating, right? Allow these things to unfold for you in a pleasurable, easeful way. That is such a gift in your world. So I want to tell you another story about where I thought I was procrastinating. So I was with another company. Cherie in the chat room says, okay, stop yelling at me, Christine. I think this might be resonating with her. I was with another company and they had a really cool tool. It was kind of like a personality test, but not exactly. It was a little bit different. It was called traffic. And when you think of the traffic signs, you've got the red light, you've got the yellow light, you've got the green light. Well, these traffic lights in this personality, mind test actually looked at the way that your brain thought, the primary way that your brain processed. Okay. And the red brainers, and there's a lot more to this than what I'm going to share, but red brainers are very linear thinkers, right? Everything comes in a proper order. and there is a beginning, a middle, and an end of a creation. All right. The people that are primary red brainers have a very difficult time starting a project, uh, anything in their life. They have a very difficult time starting something when they cannot see all of that creation, the beginning, the middle, and the end. If they can't see it all, they can't start. Okay. A green brainer is somebody who thinks in bullets. They think very quick. They're very quick on responding and action, and they don't need a ton of detail. And then they want to be just left alone. Okay, the red brainers don't want to be left alone. They need more information, but the green brainers do. A yellow brain person, if you're somebody that primarily thinks with the yellow brain, you're an ideas person. You're a creator. But you need red brains and green brains in order to actually follow through and have your creations actually come to life, to have them burst. Okay. Now here's the ticket, my friends. We all have all three. We have the red, we have the green, and we have the yellow. Now you will have one of yours will be a primary, okay? And then you will have a secondary, and then of course the third. Now for me, my primary is red. And my secondary is yellow, but they are only a difference of 1 point. So what that means is that I dance between linear process, things beginning, middle, and end, to ideas, ideas, ideas. Well, being in my own business, that created a problem because I would get all of these ideas, but if I couldn't see the whole thing, I couldn't take action. Well, that was the moment, that was the point that I would go into procrastination, and I would tell myself, you're full of shit. You just talk a big talk. You talk about all these ideas. You're not moving forward. And then I would go into this judgment. Well, then that just started me spiraling down and down into, heavy emotions, and it could go into depression. It was crazy. But when I started to find out this information, I started to understand that it was my brain required more information. Again, getting connected. I was disconnected from the idea. I was disconnected from what I wanted to move forward. I didn't understand. My brain didn't understand what it needed. And so as I started to lean into this and understand that my brain is wired in different ways, and that when I'm ready to take steps, I'm going to need more information. Maybe I need to have it bake a little bit longer. Well, one of the tools that I do now is when I have an idea, I write the idea down. I have a whiteboard on my wall, and I have ideas there of things that I want to bring forth. And sometimes these ideas will sit there, and we've got a new one. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to share it with everybody, but not yet. But those ideas may sit there for some time. And then when I kind of feel like, okay, I'm getting a little bit more information, a little bit more awareness around it, then I'll take a piece of paper and I'll maybe write down the date. I'll write down the creation idea, and I'll write down the date. And sometimes, my friends, just doing that starts to unlock the ideas. And I start to get more connected, and I start to become more aware of the idea. So it is so amazing that you can have all of these ideas, and you can start to get enhanced with them. You can start to learn more and more about them, and understand that, you know what? This is not true that you're a procrastinator. Remember, procrastination is BS for the most part. I really am grateful for you being here, and I really do hope that this show contributed to you. And I really do hope that you're going to give yourself a break and learn to be present, more present, to connect in with what is really true for you, and connect in with your creations, with your ideas, with bringing your voice to the world in whichever way, whether it's one-on-one with someone that you need to have a conversation with, or if it's bringing your voice to the world like we do here on the Inspired Choices Network. This has been a great pleasure to have you here tonight and to share this show with you. Next week, I have a special guest. It's actually one of my colleagues on my team, Jen Wood, and we're going to be talking about what soul got to do with business. So you've got to come back for that because we are going to have a good time. Well, my friends, until next time, remember, you can always make another choice. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.